Hello and welcome to the ShrubSMP Season 7. I am here by the mission board to pick up on Episode 3, and isn't it fitting that we are on Mission 3? Last time we completed Mission 2, getting our full enchantments on all of our armor, weapons, and tools, and now it's time to go find the trial chamber locations. I have in my hand one of the two maps, which I believe is the closest trial chamber of the two maps that I have. If we take a look at it, we can see two things. So part of the map is already filled in, and the reason that is because where I bought the map from one of my two cartographers, in the center of that region is the village. Now this is a regional map, which means it's zoomed out way far, and believe it or not, that is the village that I've been stuck in for the past two episodes. And the white dot in the bottom left corner is where I'm standing right now. And what we have to do is head in that direction, which I believe is east. I believe it's, let's check F3. We're heading west now, so it's actually directly behind us. Right through the board, pretty much. We're heading in that direction, and that will take us towards the village that we were in. We'll also be actually toward the trial chambers. Now, once we get in range, the map will start filling in, and then when we get really close, we'll have to turn north to head towards the location, and that is where the trial chambers for this map is. So we're gonna have a lot of fun and some adventures heading from here at spawn on over to our very first trial chamber location. Alright, as I've been walking along here, you'll notice as I take a quick look at my map that we're starting to get closer because the map is filling in, which means that our village is just ahead of us if we kept heading in this direction. But what we're going to do is we're going to start to turn north a little bit and head over here so that we can head almost directly towards the trial chamber location. We'll check in when we get over there, but it looks like we don't have very far to go. I got my boat, so make the trip a little faster. See you over there. Alright, if we take another quick check at our map, we see that we are basically right above it. And as we look around, we see that we're in water, obviously, so that tells us it's underwater and under the ground, under the water. I have to prepare for anything, so I do have a bed with me. We'll be able to set my spawn point. Let's not forget that the ShrubSMP has the graves add-on to it, so there's not too bad of a risk of losing all of my stuff, but we may have a little bit of trouble coming back to find it, depending on what happens. It's time to hop on in and see if we can find this thing. So we head into the water and straight down. Now there's a giant crevasse, so maybe if we're very lucky, we'll be able to see it. Maybe the wall of it somewhere? I don't know. I don't really see anything right now, so maybe it's deeper, maybe it's below. You know what I should have done? Let's get the map in our other hand. There we go. So we feel like, oh, we're just, maybe it's behind these walls. Okay, so we're gonna go down. Maybe let's go down as far as we can into this corner here, and we'll kind of dig in to get our air back. Oh, and there's gravel there, so that's dangerous. It's a good thing I saw that coming. Okay, good. Now we're in there. It really looks like we're in a good spot. Now, do you dig straight down when you're underwater already? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do the safe thing and dig straight. Oh, we're in water, though. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, I can drown. Alright, so here's an opening. We gotta be careful for creepers. Let's get our torches out. This is exciting. Alright, so. Oh, and there's a creeper. Alright, so exactly as predicted. And boom, he exploded. So, we're down in a cave now. And try to make sure we stay on target. It looks too big, we'll just turn around. Or is this just a small opening? Yeah, it's just a little bit of an air pocket. Alright, so we want to maybe dig a little further down or across. I don't really know how deep these things are supposed to be. I imagine they're probably pretty close to the bottom of the world. But if we follow our water column down so we don't have fall damage, and if there's any lava, it'll protect us from lava, we'll keep going down and see if we can find this trial chamber. And there it is, we found it. Alright, so and you can see the texture of the blocks. It's hard to see, but we are in a tuft. These are tuff blocks. These are chiseled tuff blocks. Now, let's quick get our bearings. I'm getting very excited. Getting very excited. Alright, so here we go. We got a torch. See the texture of these blocks? This is new in this update, along with the trial chamber updates are the tuft variants of blocks, all kind of different textures. And these are, I believe, are the tough bricks. We'll check out. Actually, I have some in my inventory. There they are, tough bricks. Yep. So now that we're here and we got the advancement, as we can see here, step foot in the trial chamber, the Trials Edition advancement, it's time to go in and see what it looks like. And then what we're going to do is head up to the surface to kind of scope out the area. All right, I think we're about to enter. There it is, the trial chamber. Neat. All right, so, oh, and there's already a spawner right there. So, gotta be careful, see what's going on around here. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm speechless. I've never been in one. So I haven't done any snapshot work. I've seen some videos of other YouTubers, but I have not done any snapshot work. This is my very first time in one of these locations. And now that we've set foot in here, I don't know what to do with myself. I think it's time to maybe just explore around a little bit. Destroy some of these mobs. That looks like, yeah, so because that has, I forget, now I'm gonna have to look up the names on this. This might be one of the very special spawners with the, that you need a key to unlock, or a key item at the very least, because of the indication of these red candles. There's two different types of treasures from what I remember. This might be the extra special one that takes a little bit of more effort to be able to open it. But as we can see, my little, kind of waterway in here led me into a decent way down to the bottom, so I can head to the bottom, and there's my first spawner. It is, uh-oh, I think it's gonna be a bogged. We're gonna have to get our shields up. Oh no, we're in trouble. We're in trouble already. They have things on their head. They're shooting poison arrows at me. They were hiding under mushrooms, if I can see this correctly. Yeah, this they are. I can just kind of dodge and weave. Oh my god, he has an enchanted bow. He's behind me, he's flanking me. The AI is pretty good. Oh, now they're fighting amongst themselves. Oh man, already. Oh my gosh. So the way I understand it is you have to continue to fight these guys off until they stop coming after you. That's the long and short of it. And then the spawner will cool down for a period of time. And then from there, you will be able to... Other players can come down, or you can just sit here and farm it. Okay, so that's when you clear it. When you get an item, you know it's been cleared, and this was just some basic food. My understanding is the items that come out of this are as if you were to, they're very basic, because the expectation is if you were to come down here not as fully geared up as I would, along the way you might actually get some items that would be useful to help you continue to progress through the chamber here. So obviously food, probably some arrows, if you're fighting these bogged guys, to be able to fight them off, and other basic supplies. One thing I do know before we move on to the rest of the chamber, how I can tell that it's within its respawn time is there's nothing in there. See how I cannot see a bogged. It's empty, but at some point, I don't know how long, again, I got to do a little more research before we continue too much further into this episode, is that you will then see the bog spinning around and they'll respawn and start to come after me again. But not too bad, as I have an arrow to the shoulder. That's alright, it didn't hurt too bad. We'll just quick eat some steak and heal up, and then get ready to move on to the next encounter. But there it is, my very first encounter, my very first experience in the trial chamber. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe look around here just a little bit to get the lay of the land, head back to the surface, and then we will move on to the second location. I don't want to spend too much time here at first. We want to check out the other location, and then we'll decide which one we're going to spend a lot of time in, and probably go after the keys that are involved with unlocking the treasures of the trial chambers. But first, we'll head back up to the surface and see if we can find that second location. All right, we're back here on the surface in our boat, and as you can see, we are looking at our second map, and it's not even filled in yet, so but that's pretty big in the bottom right-hand corner there, so I don't think it's going to take too far. I do know it's in this direction. We're looking to go northwest. Oh, check this out. Somebody's already got a nice, cool little sky block. Well, I guess it's not technically a sky block, but a cool little sky island up there in the sky. And as we get closer to render distance, we can see there's a lot more going on up there. So if we head in this direction, we'll see what type of land or water this next location is. And I'm thinking, based on the topography of the map, that it may, too, be in the ocean. So if we follow our mission, or is it going to be in the sand? Is it going to be in the mountains? We'll know when it renders in. Oh, wow, that looks really cool. I think I'm already getting excited because of how cool this terrain generation looks. This might be the automatic candidate, as a matter of fact. We may want to quickly forget about that last location, as this is looking extraordinarily promising. I just love Minecraft generation. I mean, now that I'm kind of passing underneath, oh my goodness, yes. If you can't tell by my reaction, I think the Dark Castle is definitely going to be around here. There's no doubt about it. We've decided. This is it. Dark location. Alright, so it was at this point that my audio recording went berserk, and there was a significant amount of feedback and signal degradation. So whatever was occurring a little earlier as a very slight static got so bad that I had to record voiceover for it. But what we're seeing here is, of course, I did start to go closer to try to narrow down on exactly how to dig down to this second trial chamber location, and once we got in there, I just decided that, well, I think at this point I was kind of afraid that somebody may have already found it first, but realized that's not exactly, you know, right-centered, but at the same time, it's a good place to go ahead and dig down. So we just kind of got a little bit offset. I'm probably saying something there along those lines, and be prepared to dig straight down. We're going to put a torch down, of which I'm pretty sure I knocked off when I tried to dig down. Yep, there it goes. But we're going to go ahead and dig straight down and find our way into the second trial chamber, similar to the way we found the first trial chamber, without any water though, so who knows if I might have run into a piece of lava. That could have been a little bit of a hot foot. But again, we took a little ways to get down to the bottom with the acceleration that we see here, and then we landed. Eventually, we got down to the very bottom, where the tough blocks appeared, and then we kind of realized we had found a surface or a ceiling to the trial chambers and found our entrance. And then it was time to hop down in and see what this layout looked like. And as soon as we got down there, we saw that there's some stairs and what we thought was a spawner at first, and then later came to realize was a treasure chest. Alright, I'm back down in the trial chamber below the base, and as you can see behind me, I have just finished placing all these rails down from the little starter structure. We'll show that in a little bit, but now, one thing I wanted to kind of talk about real quick, we kind of looked over it when we first got down here, was aside from, like we said, the little spawner that needs a key to be activated, there's plenty of free component. Now we're not going to do, but what you can do is look at all these amazing resources. You can get all kind of copper and these new tough variants if you just start going to town with a beacon and, you know, your silk touch pickaxe, and just picking up everything and collecting all these amazing resources and all the new copper grating and the copper trapdoors. But, oh, and the lamps, of course, those are really cool. But back onto exploring. Alright, I've been down here fighting these skeletons for like round 2, and guess what we got? We got our first trial key, so I need to take that back to my base, because when the time is right, we'll start using that to see what happens when we open one of the trial things. I have to figure out what they're called, like I said. But let's see. I think a way out's up there through that door. I'll figure out my way out of here, and then we'll restock, empty our inventory, because let me tell you what, there's plenty of loot around here. These pots are just filled with all kind of shiny stuff. Look at my inventory. I got diamonds, a diamond block, I got all kind of decorated pots, and we have some signs. Even had some ender pearls, so that was kind of neat. But back to the surface, and then back here for more looting and battling. Alright, I have collected 4 trial keys already, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take one and experiment with it. We're going to find the closest spawner or thing, and we'll also get to figure out what it's called, because we're going to get to get up close and personal and look at it. But if we go downstairs, I believe just around the corner here, or around the other corner, is... Yes, here we go. So let's check this out. What is it called? It's called the vault. Easy enough. Alright, so we have a vault key. We have a vault. Survey says I get the under lock and key achievement. Oh, and I get... Oh, that is amazing. We got a smithing template of bolt armor trim. Perfect. Man, is that exciting. Alright, so that was worth it. I was very happy to have done that. Now, the way I understand it is every player, even though those spawners continue to respawn, once you unlock one of these, each player can never unlock it again. I could be wrong about that. That's what we're going with for the time being. But boy, was that exciting, huh? We already got a really cool piece of treasure. The bolt armor trim. So cool. I don't think I'm ever going to leave here because there's just so much to explore. Even though it's a crammed space, there's just all kind of monsters. I don't think I've encountered the slimes yet, but we got the breeze, and we already have some breeze rods up in my chest up there. And then now we have the template. What else can we find? Let's check it out and keep up the battle. Well, I'm back up above the surface, and as you can tell, I've been spending a little bit of time down in the trial chamber still. If anything else, you definitely come out looking like a porcupine. So what I'm going to do is finish this tiny little structure that I have for a home base, even though the chests are already filling up. And from there, you know, look at our surroundings. We want to try to really start building this thing up. So I'm going to work on building a little bit before we end the episode. And then knowing that our trial chamber is very well accessible at any time, we'll continue to go down there and try to utilize the rest of our keys and maybe get an ominous key so that we can get into that and see what treasures we might get. Alright, just in terms of tutorials on what's going on in the new version, one of the pieces of loot that you can get when you defeat the breeze is a breeze rod. I'm holding one here in my hand, and from what I've learned, they turn into breeze charges. Well, wind charges, let's see. So we grab 4 of those, and the wind charge can be used to knock back a mob, just like I knocked back you when I threw that in your face. Or to boost yourself up in the sky. So we only have 2 of these left, and I have 1 rod, so I'll have to earn some more. And ultimately, what we're looking to do is create the mace weapon. Now, the mace weapon is created by putting a breeze rod and a heavy core. I believe that's what it's called. And the only way to get a heavy core is to trigger and win an ominous event. And the only way to get the ominous event is to get the ominous status effect and complete a special event down there. So we're gonna have to get to that a different time, but for the time being, that's about where we're gonna wrap up today. We are gonna get back to building and clearing out some of this area. I just wanted to quick demonstrate some of that new loot and some of the new features of 1.21. Alright, now that we have the preliminaries all set up, we are going to talk about what we're going to do over here. So we're going to continue to terraform the area to prepare for the Dark Castle build. We're going to continue to visit the trial chambers just below this area, so to continue to get some more loot, and eventually we're going to use the ominous bottle to be able to trigger the boss battle down there and be able to unlock the final chests with the ominous trial keys. And we're going to start digging down from the surface. Behind me there is where the trial chamber is, and we're going to go ahead and expose it to the air. We're going to dig a giant pit over there and have to incorporate it somehow with the Dark Castle. Before we do head out though, I have added a little bit of detail to the outpost here. Nothing outstanding, of course, just enough to, we got a roof over our heads, and we have a little structure to the bamboo that's been growing out on the side of the structure. And if we go down and check out the details, we can see up in the air there that we used the extinguished campfires to put a frame around it, and then utilized fence posts to enclose the bamboo in. But we can see there's one that's poking through the top, so I left a hole, so as if that bamboo was just so strong and it poked a hole through the roof there. The architecture here is kind of interesting. If we step back and look at the roof, it's not the well, I mean, it's open air because we don't have air conditioning, and it's kind of like a desert slash savanna biome, so we want to make sure we get circulation in there. But for now, it's time to head back to the mission board to kind of get an idea of what we're going to be up to next. Alright, well, we're well on our way here in Season 7, and we can look and see that Mission 3 is pretty much complete. We have done all of the activities that you can do in the trial chambers. That doesn't mean that we're going to abandon it. Of course, we do plan to dig that thing out and incorporate it somehow into the Dark Castle, and we can see that Dark Castle 7.0 is Mission 5. That means in between, it's time to get started on Mission 4 right here in the starter area, where we're going to build on the corner of this mountain. We can see behind us there's already a new structure at the top of the mountain. Some of the other shrubs are starting to build around this area, and they are on the other side, and that's going to be pretty neat to have some neighbors. But that'll all be coming up next episode when we really get this area terraformed out and start building it up. But in the meantime, I want to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.